Hi guys, it's Del from Inkie Quill, and I am so freaking upset. I made this brilliant process video on how I made these beautiful Project Life cards and a layout, and my camera decided to corrupt itself. And they are gone skis. Bye bye. So here are the photos of the cards that I made for that layout, and coming up soon you'll see them. This video is part of a challenge that I am doing with beautiful Irit, and we have challenged each other to use our Spectrum Aqua watercolor marker texter things, whatever you may call them. So today I'm doing a couple of stamping techniques to show you what I did in those original cards. So the first one I'm using the colors. What are they? Oh my gosh, they're too tiny on my little screen, but you'll be able to see the colors that I use. And I decided to do a pink little pussycat, because why not? So I'm getting my StazOn permanent ink and my clear acrylic block, which isn't so clear because it has StazOn all over it. Would you expect anything less though? And a cup. I forgot the word cup then. Oh my gosh. A cup of clean water. And I just used a thin brush. I think it's an O size. I think it's just from, where'd I pick that up from? Maybe Eckersley's, maybe? Or Spotlight. So I'm just stamping my little kitty cat in StazOn, and I just grabbed a scrap piece of paper just to test it, to see what the ink coverage was like. And these stamps are from Mama Elephant, and they're called the Three Amigos. Isn't it cute? I really want to do a card that's got all three of them on there. I haven't done it yet. But they come with all really cute sayings, and you can put the words together, and they're just really, really sweet. And they come with little... I stamp also a little scrunched up ball of paper and a pencil, and there's a love heart and a top hat and an arrow as well. So very, very cute. I think this technique would be great for card makers. So this would look really cute on the front of a card, and this literally took me about, well, you'll see how long it takes me because it's in real time. So I just decided to stamp "You're cute" because I have no idea what I'm using this for, and I can pretty much guarantee it will go next to a rabbit with "You're cute" on it. So that little scrunched up paper ball. I was going to put another one but decided against it. And I'm quite naughty. I don't clean my stamps, especially these ones, because I know that I'll always use black to stamp them in. I'm denied about where to put the pencil. First world problems, first world scrapping problems when you can't figure out where to stamp your stamp, isn't it? So now that that's done, I'm going to pop my ink away. And the StazOn comes with this little plasticky lid thing, and it says to keep it on because it keeps it fresh and moist, I think. So that's why I've kept that on there. So I started with the palest colour, and I was going to do that tanny colour as well, but it was just a bit too... You'll see in a minute. I get a scrap piece of watercolour paper. Oh, did I forget to say that? This is on watercolour, by the way, guys. I thought because I am adding water to these textures that I could do with a bit of extra support from my paper, because quite often paper and I don't have the best relationship. Pattern paper and I do, but white cardstock and I, sometimes we go through our moments where, you know, I decide to put a random ink splotch where it's not supposed to be, so the paper then decides to put random ink splotches and smudges everywhere. Anyway, enough talking about my domestic violence issues with my paper. Just getting this light pink, and I'm just kind of using the brush end, because there's two ends to these textures. There's a brush end and then a super tiny thin end, and I'm just splodging it around. Pretty much the most technical term I can come up with. Now, I'm leaving those little bits white because I'm coming in with a darker colour. Now, I was imagining that the light was coming from the left, so most of my shadows are on the right-hand side. So really, because this image is so small, there's not a whole lot of science to this. It was really fun, actually. I want to do a little purple cat too. I think that would be cute. I did do a ginger one in that layout. If you go back to the start, you'll be able to see that. But I didn't want to do that again. I wanted to try something different. So just going in with a third colour, and I couldn't really tell the difference between the second and third colours, so I added a bit of this purple. It's got a name. If you really need to know the name, I'll tell you. I got the Spectrum Aquas. I bought 2 packets of them. There's 4 different packs available, I think. One's called Nature. One's called something. And I got the primary and the floral, and you get 12 in each pack. And I just picked them up from Simon Says Stamp because I saw Jennifer Maguire, who is the queen of stamping, on YouTube. If you haven't checked out her channel, I'll put her below. She's got a ridiculous number of subscribers and videos. I saw the second technique that I'm trying today, I saw on her channel. So I'll put the link down below to the link to that video. But this one's just really blending the colours together with a bit of water. It's not really complicated. I'm sure you've all done this before. This is the first time that I've ever done it was on the actual corrupted video, which is gone. I was so annoyed because I did like voiceover while I was doing it. YouTubers will understand the annoyance of vanishing videos. I filmed all day freaking Saturday, and I only have videos from 2 o'clock onwards for some reason. All the videos before that corrupted. I did a new DIY kit video. I did 2 process videos. I did this process video, and there was something else too. I can't remember. A how-to on something. I don't know. That's how annoyed I am. It's just vanished. I had about 6 or 7 videos, and they've just gone. So now I'm just coming in with a little bit of turquoise, light bluey kind of colour, and I just wanted to give that bit of paper a little bit of colour, and so I just blob the water around, and it just bleeds off the colour. Now it's really important, if you're doing this, you need to use a permanent ink like StazOn, because otherwise your little kitty cat will turn black, and you will have black everywhere, and it will look like the poor kitty cat has cried freaking mascara everywhere after a long emotional night out. So you don't want that. And I'm just going through and adding a little bit more colour to the corner there because it wasn't dark enough for my liking. Oh, I forgot to say, I dried it off too in between doing the pink and the blue. And you can see there, I actually blotted a little bit of the blue away with some paper towel because it was too blue. And when I dried it, I was worried the water was going to go psh, and I was going to have a huge directional splodge of blue all over the background. Coming in with a bit of navy now, and I really like this. This is my favourite out of all of the textures because wait until you see the water hit it. Wait for it. Wait for it. You're waiting. You're waiting. Look at it. It's so pretty. Oh, it's the most gorgeous colour. I really want to do a big background using that colour because it's just beautiful. And then I have to go in and realise that I haven't made the ground level. So I put some more blue in behind the paper ball thing. I just love that blue. I really do. So that's this little kitty cat, and I do decide to add a little bit of detail to it, which I'll do in a little moment. So you can try this technique for anything really, and this little stamp would look great fussy cut it out and put on the front of a card, or you could use it. They're just really freaking cute. I actually did a spare one and popped it on the top of Aaron's computer screen while he wasn't watching. Oh, and then I wanted to add some pink rosy cheeks, but my pink cheeks turned into like bright red embarrassment cheeks, and it wasn't that cute. So I added the water and then ended up blotting most of it away. So now there's just a faint pink shadow because I didn't want the kitty cat to look too embarrassed. Maybe I should have. Maybe he was getting the courage to tell someone that they're cute. But he does look very embarrassed here. Cotton buds are your best friends whenever you're doing something like this. Always make sure you've got paper towel nearby and cotton buds because they can save you very, very quickly when you need it. And now, and then, oh, these cute little bows I got off eBay ages ago, and they're actually for nail art, but they're about $1 for 10 of them. And it's black with little white bows, and it's so cute. It's made out of just a plastic. Fight with my Tombow. I thought it would like me because the camera was on, but no. And it wasn't blocked, guys. It just was being special and silly and just taking a moment, really, as it does. So just adding this bow, and then this card is done. So I would add this to my project life as is. You could cut it out and add it to a 4x6 card. You could cut it out and add it to a 12x12 layout, whatever you want. So that's this little guy done. Let's give him a name. I don't know why I'm calling it a him. He has a bow. Ooh, spinny spin. I think it looks like a Reuben, but Reuben is a boy's name. Rubina. Rubina the kitty cat. Oh dear. Do you want to know what's funny about names? So as a teacher, I have a list of baby names that I like. Every year I slowly cross off more and more baby names that I could never ever call my child. So far I haven't come across a Rubina that I don't like. Never know, might happen. But yes, little Rubina the kitty cat is almost done. I was going to add a wood veneer heart but decided against it. And he is done. So cute. I really love that navy. So now we're on to technique number 2. Any moment now, Adele. Any moment. Yes, that's technique number 1. We know. This is number 2. On to 2. So this one I'm using water. Yes, water. Stampy stamps. These ones are from, can you read it? Winnie and Walter. And I'm using these 3 colours. Bud Green, Wildflower, and Red Violet, was it? I couldn't read that last one. And I'm going to do a bit of a watercolour technique. And this is the one that I was talking about that Jennifer Maguire did on her channel, which I'll put the link down below because she did a really good job of it and I'm just copying it. And so you actually use your textas as ink for stamping. So I'm just using that green and just running the side of the brush. This had a bit of tissue on it, so I had to wipe that off. Just running it along the side of the stamp. And you want to know the fabulous thing about this, guys? It's a watercolor effect. So it doesn't matter if things aren't perfect because it's freaking watercolor. So here, right in the middle, the colour didn't go on as bright as I wanted to, so I just used the other end of the texta to fix it up. Hold on, wait a minute, you'll see that in a second. So for the tulip head, I'm doing the more purpley purple, if that makes sense, on the 2 outer leaves, and then using the pinky reddy purple for the centre bit. I love the brush tip on these. It's really, really easy to work with. And stamping that on. Boom. Done. Then I'm just getting the other end of the texta, which is the skinny end, and just going over the bits where it didn't cover properly. How easy is that? Oh, Mr. Focus, what are you doing? It does come back. I don't realise until I've done the texta. Anyway, while this is all blurry, Oh, and then I fight with this one. This freaking texta lid didn't want to come off, and I had to actually pause it, take it off. It took me like about a minute to get the lid off that texta. I blame the texta, not my lack of upper body strength, for sure. So just going over it with the skinny tip, and you can see how it just makes it a bit more defined, I guess you could say. It's important to do that before you start going near it with the water. So now I'm going to get my skinny brush and dip it in a little bit of water, not too much, just enough. And I'm going to start by just putting the water in the middle of one of those petals, and then slowly push it towards the sides, and the colour kind of leaks out of the sides. It's really cool. It does take a little while, it does take a little bit of manipulating of those lines, but the colour just slowly starts to pour out. And I do the petals twice, so you'll see this is just a base coat basically, just to get a bit of colour everywhere. And I am going to go for a little bit of shading down the bottom. And you can see the more that you work those lines, the blurrier they become. So it depends how defined you want it. I think it would look quite cute with just leaving it like that. But I decided to work in a little bit more colour. Now, the important thing with this technique is that you need to do spaces that aren't touching each other. Because if I was to go and do that middle part of the flower now, before these had dried, the lines would become super fuzzy and blurry, and it just does not look good. Believe me, I tried it. Jennifer Maguire said this, and I was like, nah, it'll be right. It's not right, guys. You have to let it dry. So I just used my hairdryer off screen to dry it, to save you sitting through all of that. And I totally go out of the lines here, but then I decide to do a whole heap of it out of the lines in a minute. So drying it off, and I'm back and it's dry. Be careful when you dry it that you don't use a too powerful dryer setting and the water just goes and does like a big drippy drop across your page. So here, grabbing the brush end of that same colour and doing a little bit more colour at the bottom of the flower, getting my paintbrush again, and you'll just see how much depth this adds to the petals. It's really quite an easy technique, and it's quite mindless. Like, you don't really have to think too much about it, which is nice. And it doesn't take too long, really. This little card probably took about, 10 minutes. And drying literally takes about 10 seconds. It doesn't take much to dry it because it's such a small area. I really want to do a border, maybe for a 12 by 12 layout of all flowers from this stamp set. I think that would be really pretty. So just using a teeny tiny bit of paper towel just to blot it a little bit, because I did have a lot of liquid, and I'm just a bit nervous to dry too much liquid because I did once before and the liquid went everywhere. So it's dry now. I took it off screen, dried it, and now I'm doing the middle. So this middle part, I didn't mind if it all bled in together. So I'm just mixing it all together, and you can just see how just that simple variation of colour just adds a bit of extra something to the flower. So I really am looking forward to experiment with a lot of different colours. Dried it, I'm back. I'm going to add a little bit more colour to the bottom. And it's important to use colours next to each other that kind of go and don't go muddy. I had a little bit of an issue at one point with the purple mixing with the green, and it did go a little bit kind of muddy vomit colour. I'm just going to put it out there. It really wasn't the nicest colour I have ever seen. And just going to grab a little bit of paper towel again, I think. Yep. And just drying up a bit of that colour, kind of blending it a little bit with the paper towel. And I just love the softness that this gives. So I've only tried this in purple. I have got some pinks, and I really want to try a blue one with that navy. I think that would be really pretty. So now just adding some water to the stem, and this is really easy. I don't try to blend it. I don't try to do anything fancy schmancy. Just basically putting water along and the colour just bleeds into the middle. And then I do get a little bit of the green and kind of put it up onto the bottom of the bud to make it look like the base of, you know, when the stem meets the flower, there's a little bit, I'm sure it's got a technical name, someone must know it, the green frilly bit. And it's done. So on the project life layout that I did, I actually added a quote that I found on Pinterest, which you could easily do, and that's my card done. So I'll put some more photos of the layout that I did at the end for you to have a little look at. I'm really disappointed and sorry that video didn't work, but now I have another go at this watercolor stamping technique using the daffodil, and I'll just speed it up and put some music to it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.